Welcome, candidates, and hello to our citizen viewers to the League of Women Voters of Detroit and Grosse Pointe Forum for the United States Representative for Michigan's 13th Congressional District. My name is Laurie Reed. I am a member of the Grosse Pointe League. This forum is for the primary election on Tuesday, August 6, 2024. The League has gathered questions from the community via email over the last few weeks. This format will not allow us to submit all of the questions to the candidates. We encourage citizens to follow up with the individual candidates with their questions and concerns. Questions have been sorted for relevancy, redundancy, and slanderous content. The League is providing this forum as an opportunity for candidates to express their views related to their candidacy. Statements expressed by the candidates are neither endorsed nor opposed by the League. The League does not certify any candidate responses to questions as accurate. Voters are encouraged to fact-check information shared at the forum. Before I introduce the moderator for this forum, I would like to remind the community that both the Detroit and Grosse Pointe Leagues are 501c nonprofits. We offer candidate forums and other voter education programs as a service to the community. Please visit our websites, lwvdetroit.org and lwvgrossepointe.org, if you are inclined to support our mission of empowering voters and defending democracy. Now, I will Rhonda Craig, Detroit League member, who will serve as our moderator tonight.
Thank you, Laurie. The League of Women Voters is a national organization whose members and mission is to promote political responsibility through informed and active participation of citizens in government. The League neither endorses nor opposes candidates or political parties. We welcome all men and women 16 years and older to membership. The format for this forum has been established by the League of Women Voters. The format was provided to each candidate prior to the forum. Thanks to the following League members for their roles in this forum: timekeeper, Julianne Phillips; question sorters, Sue Acton, Julianne Phillips, and Jamie Ray Turnbull. There are 4 candidates for a 1 2-year term in the U.S. House of Representatives. 3 will appear on the Democratic Party section of the August 6 primary ballot, and 1 will appear on the Republican Party section. The prevailing candidates in the party primary elections will appear on the November 5th general election ballot. Candidates that are present are, in alphabetical order, Republican candidate Martell D. Bivings, and Democratic candidates Shakira, Lynn Hawkins, and Shri Thanedar. Mary Waters was scheduled to appear but was unable to appear today. Each candidate will have an opportunity to make an opening statement not to exceed 2 minutes. The order has been determined by drawing lots just prior to this meeting. The timekeeper will hold up a card to demonstrate 30 seconds remaining and a card indicating stop when the time has expired. Following their opening statements, the candidates will be answering in alternating order written questions from the community. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to each question. As moderator, I reserve the right to close discussion on a question. At the end of the question period, each candidate will have an opportunity to make a 2-minute closing statement in reverse order of the opening statements. We will begin with the candidates' opening statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes. Mr. Thanedar.
Thank you, and good evening to all of us and all of you. I first of all want to thank League of Women Voters for organizing this dialogue that I am so excited to participate in. Um, I grew up in poverty, six sisters, a brother. My father lost his job. I worked as a janitor growing up. And so I understand the struggles of working families. When I came to America as an immigrant to study, I only had $20 in my pocket. I worked hard, I got some breaks, and I was able to achieve my American dream is not accessible to many people. And that's why I want to make a level playing field, close the economic gap between the rich and the poor, create workforce opportunities, uh, walking the picket lines, supporting our workers' rights to collectively bargain, to unionize. And so my focus is on
Mr. Thanedar, I'm afraid you're breaking up very badly.
Looks like I lost connection, so let me state that again. My name is Congressman Shri Thanedar. I'm honored to serve all of you in the United States Congress, and I'm working to make lives better for all of my residents, bringing federal dollars to the district and helping bring prosperity, economic improvement for all.
Thank you, Mr. Bivings.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the League of Women Voters, thank you for this opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Martell.
Are you able to hear me?
My name is Martell D. Bivings, and I am running for U.S. Congress because I believe in the power of community and the strength we have when we come together. As a graduate of Cody High School and a son of Howard University, and having helped to open over 50 new businesses on the East Side, I've seen firsthand the resilience and potential of our community. My experience as a former banker at First Independence Bank has equipped me with the knowledge to advocate for economic policies that ensure everyday essentials remain affordable and support local small businesses. One of my key focuses is to create easier pathways to home ownership and to provide tax breaks for existing homeowners. Home ownership is a cornerstone of the American dream, and I believe that everyone deserves the opportunity to achieve it. Our campaign is built on principles of together we prosper. This isn't just a tagline, it's a commitment to ensuring that all voices are heard and that we work collectively together for a brighter future. I'm committed to bringing pragmatic, inclusive solutions to Washington, D.C. that reflects the diverse needs of our district. I ask for your support and your vote so that we can prosper and grow together. Again, Martell Bivings, candidate for United States Congress, Republican. Thank you for this invitation and opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you. Shakira Hawkins? Oh, I'm sorry, you're on mute. Ms. Hawkins, you're on mute.
Okay, there we go. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Shakira Lynn Hawkins. I was born and raised in the city of Detroit. My mother was a Detroit police officer and a nurse. My father worked at Chrysler for 30 years before retirement. I attended the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor for my undergrad education and the University of Detroit Mercy School of Law for law school. After completing law school, I began my career that I have dedicated to public service in legal aid in the civil division. I have been the executive director of a domestic violence shelter in the city. And for over a decade, I served the community of Wayne County as a public defender. Post-COVID or post-pandemic, I joined the city of Detroit, where I was an administrative hearing officer for 1 year. before joining the law department, where I was employed for over a year and a half as a senior assistant corporation counsel. I am running for office to make a difference in my community. I want to, just like I fought for my clients in court, I want to fight for the rights and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy, and those freedoms are at risk right now. We need strong leadership in our community, and we also need someone who is willing to step up and fight for all of us. We need representation, and we need a committed leader who understands the needs of the people of this district. And as the only homegrown, aside from Mr. Bivings, Democrat on the ballot, I think I am that leader. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go to the written questions from the community. And this first question will go to Mr. Bivings. That question is, what made you interested in running for office? What in your background has specifically prepared you to assume this position?
What had me interested in running for office is just watching our community not really prosper collectively in high numbers. My background is in public policy, economic development, and banking. I'm a classically trained ballet dancer, so I really honestly prefer to just take a back seat and watch. But as I was watching, there was no one approaching this job that had the know-all, the commitment to the community to serve us properly, collectively, and diversely in Washington. So I said, hey, similar to our founding fathers, I'm going to have to take a step away from my individual pursuits for the betterment of our community, our state, our city, and our republic. So that is why I decided to run. There's no one else that seems to have the discipline and the capability to serve us in the House legislatively.
Thank you. Shakira Hawkins.
Can you repeat the question, please?
What made you interested in running for this office? What in your background has specifically prepared you to assume this position?
The role of the representatives, one of the roles of the representatives in Congress is to promulgate laws. As a lawyer, I deal with laws every day. I deal with the interpretation and I fight for people's rights. I ran for this office because I did not see anyone in office in my community whose values aligned with mine. I didn't see anyone fighting for the things that mattered to me. I didn't see anyone addressing the needs that I see in my community on a daily basis. 4 years ago, I ran for judge on a platform of ending gun violence, increasing mental health funding, stopping the school to prison pipeline. And now, 4 years later, those things are still issues and no one seems to care about them. No one seems to be doing anything about them. And like Mr. Bivings, I just decided it's time for me to step up to the plate. I have a son. I have, as they say, skin in the game. I want to see this country excel. I want to see my son excel. I want everyone to have opportunities.
Thank you, Ms. Hawkins.
Thank you.
Mr. Thanedar, would you like me to repeat the question?
No. So I am currently serving as the congressman for the 13th Congressional District. But I know I grew up in poverty. 6 sisters, a brother, my father lost his job. I worked as a janitor. So I understand the struggles of working families. I understand the struggles trying to put food on the table, take care of health care, your children's education, child care. I understand the struggles that I've faced firsthand. Now, after being successful achieving my American dream, I served in the State House as a state representative for 2 years, bringing a lot of dollars to the district. And now I am in the United States Congress because I want to work on making people's lives better.
Thank you. Our next question, the first person to answer will be Ms. Hawkins. And that question is, what, if anything, should the federal government do to reduce the role of money in American elections? Where is the majority of your financial support coming from?
I believe in public financing of committees. I think that we need to take special interests and super PACs out of the equation because, basically in today's reality, politicians are bought and paid for. It seems like the person with the most financing gets the most attention, gets the most money. We have a representative who's used our tax dollars to promote his own campaign. We see the difference. There's three of us. I've only seen commercials for one of us. I think once you get on the ballot, everyone should have equal access to campaign funds. I think that, we should all have equal access to being able to spread our message and our platform. And I just don't see that right now. So I would support an initiative for public campaign financing.
Thank you. Mr. Thanedar.
Well, I am a big supporter of public financing of our elections. Citizens United was the number one evil in our politics. PACs and super PACs and corporations and the wealthy, the money influence on our politics is corrupting our politicians and politics. I would like to see complete public financing. I would like end to Citizens United as we know it, and end financing by super PACs and the corporate money into our election process.
Thank you. Mr. Bivings.
Yes.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
What, if anything, should the federal government do to reduce the role of money in American elections? Where is the majority of your financial support coming from?
Perfect. As a Republican, I believe in the principles of transparency, accountability, and fairness in our electoral process. The influence of money on politics is a concern that transcends party line, and it's essential that we address it to maintain integrity of our republic. The federal government can take several steps to reduce the influence of money in elections while respecting our constitutional freedoms. First, we should enforce and strengthen existing campaign finance laws to ensure that all donation expenditures are fully transparent. Voters have the right to know where candidate support is coming from, and transparency is key and accountable. Moreover, I believe we should consider implementing measures to encourage small dollar donations from individual citizens, ensuring that candidates rely on broad base of support rather than a few wealthy donors. This aligns with our belief of empowering individuals and reducing the influence of special interests. While we respect the right of individuals to support candidates of their choice, it is crucial for us to prevent any single person wealth from buying a seat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bivings. This next question will first go to Mr. Thanedar. And that question is, tell us your thoughts on the fairness of American elections, voter access, and election integrity.
I would like to see access to voting. There should not be any restrictions. I have seen Republicans create hurdles, especially for seniors, especially people of color, to be able to exercise their voting rights. There should be free and easy access to voting. And I think Michigan has gone a long way in terms of no reason absentee voting, opening voting booths early. Early voting is now available almost 9 days before the election date. And these are all good developments, but we need to continue to protect our voting rights. And I will fight any attempt by Republicans to cut down our voting rights.
Thank you. Mr. Bivings?
As a Republican and someone coming from Detroit, I believe that voting in the city of Detroit and our region is really well. We have early voting, absentee voting. We have the polls opening 9 days before. What we really have to do as people who are steeped in the electorate process is make sure that voters are aware that they have these options. Many voters do not know. Even before we had absentee voting and 9 days voting, I would go into the poll at maybe 6 o'clock and I'm the 15th voter. And then I would maybe leave there and go to my local Coney Island, and there's about 45 people in the Coney Island lobby, and no one knows that it's election day. So it's really, it behooves us to make sure our citizenry knows that election is coming on and that they can take part in it.
Thank you. Shakira Hawkins?
I believe that in America, your vote is your voice. And I don't think people appreciate the power that they have and the ability to vote. I believe voter turnout, I live in Detroit, so I'll use that as an example, is on average in the 30% range for a general election, and lower than that, sometimes around 18% during the primaries. I don't know if the answer, I don't know. I mean, it's almost, I don't believe that in the state of Michigan, we can make it any easier for people to vote with early access, with no excuse absentee ballots being mailed out. I think it's just voter apathy, and we just need to do a better job of publicizing the importance of voting.
Okay, thank you. This next question will first go to Mr. Bivings. And that question is, as a member of Congress, what policies would you promote and support to address climate change?
What do you think about it? Let's see. I would support our market-based solutions. Continue to study what we have there. Investment in clean energy, conservation of our rainforest, infrastructure reliance, doing bipartisan collaboration. Climate change is a global change that requires bipartisan cooperation. I'm committed to working across the party lines to develop and implement practical science-based solutions by finding common ground and focusing on shared goals. Infrastructure resilience. As we address climate change, we must also prepare for its impacts. We on the east side tonight is going to be a very big rainstorm, and we are praying heavily that our basements don't flood. That's a concern. That's something I would address in Congress. Innovation and research, encouraging innovation and technology.
Thank you, Mr. Bivings. Thank you.
Okay.
Shakira Hawkins.
Thank you. Protecting the climate and the environment is part of my platform. So it's something that I take very seriously. I think that some of the options that we have that are available or that we need to look into more are transition to renewable energy and promoting the use of renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal power to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and decrease greenhouse gas emissions. We need to work on energy efficiency and improve the efficiency in buildings, transportation, and industrial processes. We need to plant trees and restore natural habitats to absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and enhance carbon sinks. And I would promote encouraging sustainable agricultural practices that reduce emissions from farming activities, preserve soil health, and promote carbon sequestration in soils. And we just need to protect our ecosystems. And finally, transition to electric
vehicles. Thank you very much, Hawkins. Mr. Thanedar.
Well, I am a big supporter of alternate and renewable energy. We have seen climate denial, climate crisis denial from Republican Party, from former President Trump. We need to ensure that we fight the fossil fuel industry. We, clean air, clean soil, clean water are fundamental human rights. And I will continue to support in bringing clean energy, electric vehicles, and clean environment, which is essential for our good health.
Thank you. This next question will first go to Shakira Hawkins. And that question is, while some progress has been made by Congress on gun safety issues, A recent Supreme Court decision set back restrictions on bump stocks. As a congressperson, what steps would you take to protect Americans from gun violence, and specifically, would you vote for a federal ban on assault weapons?
Yes, I'll start with your last part first. I would definitely support a ban on assault weapons. I don't think that anyone needs those. I support the Second Amendment right to own handguns, but I don't believe that anyone needs assault weapons. Ending gun violence is also part of my platform. I believe that we should enact comprehensive background checks. We need to close the gun sales loopholes. We need red flag laws. We need more investment in mental health services. I would support community-based violence intervention programs. Michigan, we do have the safe storage laws, which I'm happy were enacted here, and education and awareness. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Thanedar.
Well, I'm a big supporter of common sense gun control laws. Although I support the Second Amendment, I voted to ban assault weapons. I'll continue to ask for red flag laws. I'll continue to ask for improved mental health services. I am a proponent of Medicare or healthcare for all, including full access to mental health care. And I will always support red flag laws. The mass shootings that we have seen every other day in America is not acceptable. This is not a way to live, and we need good common sense gun control laws.
Thank you. Mr. Bivings.
Yes. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. While some progress has been made by Congress on gun safety issues, a recent Supreme Court decision set back restrictions on bump stocks. As a congressperson, what steps would you take to protect Americans from gun violence? And specifically, would you vote for a federal ban on assault weapons?
I would not vote for a federal ban on assault weapons or any other gun. You cannot, I don't believe you can support the Second Amendment while also restricting gun access or trying to restrict one from gaining one. Some of the laws that I would pursue is enforcing existing laws, ensuring current gun laws are strictly enforced, improve background checks, support mental health services, getting back to one another, getting back to family, getting back to Christian values, getting back to helping our community have purpose and understanding who and what they are. But restricting one's gun access is not something I would ever support.
Okay, thank you. This next question will first go to Mr. Thanedar. And that question is, Michigan has addressed the women's right to choose issue through its recent referendum, but that would not stop a national ban. What is your position on a woman's right to choose?
I support a woman's right to choose. I am 100% supportive of women's right to choose. I will protect a woman's right. Roe versus Wade. Roe needs to be a part of our Constitution, to codify our Constitution, to make Roe a right across America. You know, a woman's right is, a woman has a right to her body, to make medical decisions. There should be nothing between a woman and her doctor. The government has no place to interfere in a woman's right for her to take care of her rights, her bodily autonomy. And I support a woman's right fully.
Thank you. Mr. Bivings.
I believe in protecting life and supporting the state level decision on abortion. I believe in states' rights, and this matter is at the state level, and that is where it is. And I, whatever the state of Michigan, the legislature, the governor, and the people decide, I fully support that. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Shakira Hawkins.
I believe in full bodily autonomy, and that includes reproductive freedom for women. I don't believe that the government should intervene in the decisions between a woman, her family, and her healthcare provider. I 100% believe that Roe versus Wade should be the law of the land. Thank you.
Okay, this next question will first go to Mr. Bivings. And that question is, what reforms do you support on immigration? What steps do you support in creating an accessible path to citizenship?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. What reforms do you support on immigration? What steps do you support in creating an accessible path to citizenship?
Thank you for that. I support immigration reform that prioritizes border security while providing a pathway to legal status that allows that person entering the country to have dignity while pursuing access to America. Secure border strengthens our country and our citizens. Pathways to citizenship creates a fair and achievable pathway to legal status. Merit-based system. Implement a merit-based status where immigrant systems can attract skilled workers. Family protection. So immigrants that are already here will be able to have access and aid other family members to come. Preserve family-based immigration policies. But I think it should be legal. I think it should be streamlined. And I think it creates opportunity for respect for the people entering our country.
Thank you. Shakira Hawkins.
I think that our current immigration system is broken. I think that, the large numbers of immigrants that are entering and going to sanctuary cities, it's right now, there's just a bottleneck. There's too many people entering at one time. And I do believe that we need to increase border security. I believe in compassionate border security. I think that we need to hire more border patrol officers and use technology. But once people are here, I do believe they should have a path to citizenship. I do believe that we should protect dreamers. I support family-based immigration where people can sponsor family members back at home to come here. And I believe that we should have refugee and asylum policies. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Thanedar.
Well, as the member of Congress, I have been working on reforming our immigration system. I have introduced 2 different bills in the Congress. Among the 22 bills that I have introduced so far in just the first 16 months of my service as the U.S. Congressman, I have been working on reforming our immigration system, which clearly is broken. The chaos at the border needs to be resolved, and that can only be done through additional staffing and border patrol. But we need to create a path of citizenship for the dreamers. I believe in a much improved legal immigration system that will make it easier for growth of American businesses and creating American jobs.
Thank you. This next question will first go to Ms. Shakira Hawkins. And that question is, what, if anything, should Congress do over the long term to ensure quality health care, including mental health care, at an affordable cost for all?
I think that we need single payer healthcare in this country. I believe and support Medicare or Medicaid for all. Other countries have done this successfully. I don't think that in this day and age, there's any excuse for anyone to not have access to good quality, affordable health care. Again, when I ran for judge, part of my platform was mental health funding, because a lot of the people that come before the courts have mental health issues that are going untreated. We can't use jails and prisons as health care, certainly not as mental health care. We need to do a better job, and I would support funding for mental health as part of the universal health care package. Thank you.
Mr. Thanedar.
Well, I am a big proponent of Medicare for all. I want to see a single-payer healthcare system, like a universal healthcare. I, as a member of Congress, introduced just recently a resolution that will treat mental health on par with physical health. Because I believe we are dealing with a mental health pandemic in our country. Access to mental health needs to be across the board. And, it is about time that every American is covered by healthcare. Today, we have 26 million Americans without healthcare. In the Detroit area, we have seen the effects of that during the COVID time. I support a universal healthcare.
Mr. Bivings.
Yes. I believe Congress should focus on ensuring quality health care and mental health support through the following measures. Market-based reform, promote competition among insurers to lower costs and expand coverage options. Health saving accounts, HSS. Expand HSS to empower individuals to save medical expenses tax-free. Tort reform, address medical malpractice reform to reduce healthcare costs. Mental health priority, ensure quality coverage for mental health services under insurance plans. And 5, innovation and research, invest in medical research and innovation to address treatment and cures for medical and mental illness.
Thank you. This next question will first go to Mr. Thanedar, and that question is, what do you think is the #1 remaining infrastructure issue facing our district?
Well, we still need to fix the roads. We need to fix the bridges. In 13th district in downriver, I see a lot of issues with roads. We have issues with lead pipes. Every child in America must be able to drink clean water as a fundamental human right. And lead pipes need to be replaced in all across America. We need to have public transportation. I think public transportation in the Detroit area is one of the worst in the nation. We need to invest, and President Biden did the right thing by bringing and signing the bipartisan infrastructure law. Through that, under my watch, $324 million were brought in to the district while I served as the congressperson of this 13th district. I'll continue to bring more federal dollars.
Thank you, Mr. Thanedar. Mr. Bivings.
Well, we all know that our roads and infrastructure is priority, and that's everyone's focus in the United States Congress. Everyone knows roads and infrastructure and bridges needs to be repaired, but something that's essential in our district that no one is mentioning, that is very close to my heart and my immediate neighbors, is the Jefferson-Chalmers Canal System. That is something that we need federal funds to alleviate the residents who live in this very unique and beautiful neighborhood. That is a major issue that is extremely different and a big delta amongst infrastructure issues in our district and throughout the country. And I will partner with other people and other representatives who have neighborhoods similar to Jefferson-Chalmers to aid them, as well as our district, in infrastructure plans to reduce this financial burden that is very unique. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Ms. Hawkins.
Obviously, infrastructure is very important. It affects other areas. For example, small businesses, people need employees, and employees need to be able to get to work. And if we don't have the infrastructure, we're not going to attract businesses to our area. I would definitely work on bringing more money to our community so that we can work on these issues and attract more businesses, and also keep the residents that we have. People come here, go to school, and then they go elsewhere for opportunities. I think if we put more money into our infrastructure, then we could keep and maintain our citizens in this area and bring in small businesses, which would help grow the economy. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question will first go to Mr. Bivings. And that question is, there have been recent protests and encampments within the district due to the conflict in Gaza. Tell us your view on what should be done in both Gaza and Ukraine.
Okay. Could you repeat that for me?
Yes. There have been recent protests and encampments within the district due to the conflict in Gaza. Tell us your view on what should be done in both Gaza and Ukraine.
Well, when it comes to Gaza, I believe we should support efforts for lasting peace and security, ensuring humanitarian services reach all civilians. And I believe Ukraine, I think they should be able to really focus on getting themselves out of this war without the added finances of the American taxpayers' dollars. Before my grandmother passed, I remember the last thing she told us before she lost control of her cognition. She said, "Take care of yourself." And I think with all of the issues that we're facing in America right now, we need to take care of ourselves. Thank you for the question.
Shakira Hawkins.
As it relates to Gaza, I would support our government doing everything it can to bring the conflict to an end. I support a permanent and immediate ceasefire, and I believe that we should continue to make every effort to get humanitarian assistance and aid to the civilians. As it relates to Ukraine, I do believe that we need to try to keep the world safe for democracy. And we need to promote and help others secure democracy so that it continues to grow. While I don't think that we should continue to send lots of money, we need to help our neighbors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Thanedar.
Well, I support the ceasefire plan proposed by President Biden. I urge that both Israel and Hamas must accept this ceasefire plan and comply with it. Hamas has been dragging on in accepting the ceasefire proposals. Multiple proposals have been made, and Hamas must accept these proposals, and there should be an end to the war in Israel-Hamas war.
Thank you. This next question will first go to Shakira Hawkins. And that question is, what have you done recently that has helped you get to know and understand residents across the district? What ideas have they given you?
I've been reaching out to members of community organizations, block clubs, the organizations that have received some of the federal funds to address gun violence. I reached out to members of small Black businesses in the city of Detroit, and also other areas of the 13th Congressional District. And I'm just finding out what matters to them, what do they want to see in a representative, what issues they want addressed. I want them to know that I will be there for them, and that, I believe those closest to the problem are closest to the solution. And I want to have a collaborative relationship with all the stakeholders in the community. And to that end, I've just been going to as many meetings and addressing as many groups as I can, so that they can get to know me and I can get to know exactly what their issues are and how I can help and be of service.
Thank you. Mr. Thanedar.
Well, currently I am the United States Congressman, and through my office, we have served 1,700 constituents, solving their problems, whether it is related to getting them Social Security checks or IRS refunds or getting an emergency passport. Just recently, a family came to us, and one of their uncle did not receive a honorable burial as the military police killed this black man. And my office was able to get honorable burial for their uncle. We've solved numerous problems, brought millions of dollars to the district to make people's lives better. And I continue to fight for the people of 13th District.
Thank you. Mr. Bivings.
Well, for me, something that I've immediately just got done doing is I was able to submit 1,500 signatures to the clerk's office to appear on this August ballot. And getting the signatures myself and not paying anyone and doing that work, I was able to speak directly to 1,500 citizens and hear what they had to say. If you go to my website, Bivings for Congress, and looks on my issue page, that is how we developed our platform, through talking to constituents, going door to door, also hosting community forums and engaging in community forums such as this, and also working through social media platforms to get a direct dialogue with some of the citizens. I believe in community in community engagement, and that is what I have done, and that's what I'll continue to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This next question is our last question. And this question will first go to Mr. Thanedar. And that question is, what distinguishes you as the best candidate for Congress in the 13th District?
Well, every waking hour, I am doing my job. When I worked in the State House, I worked with Governor Whitmer to protect women's rights and protect abortion rights, a woman's right to choose. I brought a lot of money to the district for education, for mental health. And now in Congress, I have brought $15 million for various community projects across the district. Some of the mayors of some cities said that no other congressperson had brought dollars to their city. So I have been doing the job. I'm bringing dollars home. I am solving constituent problems. My team and I are working every waking hour to support our community, and I'll continue to fight for our district and our people.
Thank you. Mr. Bivings.
As I am the best candidate for the 13th District, I bring a unique combination of experiences, dedication, and a proven track record of effective leadership. With a background in banking and community development, I understand economic challenges facing our district and have actively worked to address them. I have personally helped open over 50 new businesses on the East Side, including bringing back the first Black-owned grocery store in the Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood. I am well versed in crafting and advocating for policies that support homeownership, economic development, and physical responsibility. I have a proven ability to collaborate across party lines with diverse stakeholders and achieve meaningful results. I envision a district where every resident has the opportunity to thrive, and I am dedicated to making the vision a reality through effective legislation and advocacy. Ultimately, there is no other choice but me in this process. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Shakira Hawkins.
I was born and raised in this district. I love this district. This is where I chose to raise my family, raise my son. I can distinguish myself with my passion for justice and protecting people's rights and freedoms. I want to see our country and our community thrive. I want to protect our rights. Our democracy is fragile, and we need a strong voice and a strong leader to help us go into this next era where there's so much acrimony and distrust of the government. I want to bring back civility and also just let people know that, I entered this race because I didn't see anyone whose values aligned with mine. For those people who share my vision, I just want them to know that they have a fighter in me. And if given the choice, I will take this responsibility very seriously and help our country get to where it needs to be. Thank you.
Thank you. We will end this segment with the candidates' closing statements, not to exceed 2 minutes. The order is now reversed. So we will start with Ms. Shakira Hawkins.
As I've indicated before, I love this country. I love my community. I believe our nation is at a crossroads and we need strong leadership. It is one thing to be poor. It is another thing to be poor in this community. I know what that is like. I know the people in this community. I am one of the people in this community. I was born and raised here. And I'm not saying that that is all that should matter, but I do think that we need leaders who know what we've been through, who understand the challenges that we face in this community. And I think that in order to have that true understanding, you have to have been here for a long time and you have to have a relationship with people to know what people need and to be able to relate to people. And I am that person. I care about other people. I have fought and dedicated my entire career to helping others, to right the wrongs that have been done, to help people in their darkest hours, to fight for their constitutional rights. And that is what I will continue to do if or when I am elected as the new congressperson for the 13th Congressional District. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bivings.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters and everyone here today. As we look forward to the future of our district, I am committed to being a strong voice for our community in Congress. Ultimately, it's not just about holding a seat. It's about making positive impact through legislation that improves the lives of those in our community. With your support, we can achieve real progress, promoting economic opportunity, ensuring affordable homeownership, and advocating and advancing policies that benefit every resident. Together, let's build a bright future where our district thrives. Thank you. Don't just let this seat be purchased. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Thanedar.
I am honored that the people of 13th District chose me almost 2 years ago to represent them. And I have worked every waking hour serving my constituents, whether it is constituent services, helping people with home repairs, for bringing dollars for flood relief. I brought a $15 million for lead line removals, $325 million for infrastructure improvements. I have served the city of Detroit in the State House. I am now, as a congressman, have continued to bring federal dollars to the district to improve people's lives. I have introduced 22 resolutions and bills and legislation in the US Congress. I have co-sponsored 400 bills protecting women's rights, protecting workers' rights, common sense gun reform, improving healthcare, mental illness, access to healthcare. There's a lot that I have done and I continue to work. And I am dedicated to making people's lives better because I know what it is to live in poverty. I know what it is to be a working family, working living paycheck to paycheck. The gap between the rich and the poor is too large. And I want to create economic opportunities through workforce development, apprenticeship. Not everybody needs to go to a 4-year college, but everybody should be able to make a living, a good living, so they can raise their family and have prosperity for all.
Thank you. Our online voter guide covering this race is on vote411.org and is linked to our websites, which are lwvdetroit.org and lwvgrosspoint.org. Election Day is August 6, 2024. Polls will open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Early in-person voting is available beginning July 27th through August 4th. Check with your local clerk for the location and hours of the early voting site in your community. You can verify your voting registration status by calling your city clerk or going to vote411.org or to the Secretary of State website, michigan.gov/vote. Thank you and have a good evening.